Executive Director for Washington Region Clean Cities Coalition. I want to thank you all for being here today. Really excited. This month is Women's History Month, and this weekend is St. Patrick's Day weekend, and soon we'll be celebrating St. Joseph's Day as well. And just glad to be here with you. We got an awesome lineup for you today. I just want to share just a couple quick things. One, I see a number of good folks on here. If you're not a member, please become a member today. They'll put that information for you in the chat as well. We do have big announcement. Our office is expanding to the city of Baltimore, so we have a big kickoff event on Tuesday, March 19th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in Baltimore, Maryland. So we're really excited about that. If you are a member of the coalition, you probably get weekly updates with funding opportunities. If not, you can always look in our newsletter, but there are a ton of funding opportunities that are on the street right now. Our office just did collaborate on some concept papers on Monday with around 5 different coalitions and organizations from around the country. So hopefully we'll make the first round of that. But if you're thinking about applying for federal funding or state or local or private funding, let us know. We can do letters of support. We can partner with you on some of those with project management, community engagement, technology, deployment, and all those other good things as well. I also just want you to know that we've been very involved in some advocacy issues at the local, state, and federal level as well, trying to make sure we have good policy that can promote clean energy and clean transportation. And from time to time, there may be issues that you see if they align with some of our priorities. We'll do letters or testify in support or opposition of policies that are important to our membership. So I just want to say thank you for being here. I'm going to turn over to Laurel McWilson, who is our marketing and outreach person. I want to say hello to Ms. Cullen, one of our board members, is going to be speaking today, and I see a few other folks on the line today. So I'm turning over to Laurel.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Laurel. I'm the Marketing and Outreach Coordinator for GWRCCC, as Antoine mentioned earlier. And I just wanted to get us all started. So I would like to welcome our 2 presenters for today. First, we have Genevieve Cullen, who is the president of Electric Drive Transportation Association, EDTA, and she is also a GWRCCC board member. Genevieve joined EDTA in 2005 and serves as the president of the Cross Industry Trade Association, promoting the electrification of transportation by leading EDTA's policy and advocacy efforts for tax, research and development, infrastructure, and deployment of electric drive vehicles. Prior to joining EDTA, Genevieve provided energy policy counsel in the executive and legislative branches, including serving as energy counsel to Senator Evan Bayh, a Democrat from Indiana, where she worked on diverse energy and industry issues, including climate change, air quality, transportation, and federal energy efficiency policies, and utility regulation. Next, we have Maria Lognikova, Chief Technology Officer from American Wire Group, or AWG. Maria has 40+ years of engineering management experience in power systems design, power generation, and grid integration of utility scale renewable projects, including wind, solar, and battery energy storage. She joined AWG in February 2016 and leads the technical service and EV infrastructure division. Prior to joining AWG, Maria was director of engineering with EDF Renewable Energy, and she was responsible for the design and implementation of more than 4,500 MW wind and solar projects. So thank you so much to both of you for joining us today. We're going to start off with Genevieve's presentation. So let me pull that up real quick.
Perfect. Thank you, Laurel. And thank you, Antoine. Thanks for inviting me to be here this morning, and congratulations on Baltimore. That's exciting news. I appreciate the opportunity to come here to your monthly meeting and just give just want to give you a sort of update, essentially our monthly update on what's happening in electric drive transportation. For those who are not familiar with us, EDTA, as Laurel said, we're a cross-industry trade association. Our members include vehicle manufacturers, electric utilities, companies in the materials and component space, as well as companies that are building out AV infrastructure. We are a really diverse organization. We've been operating since 1989, and our mission is to advance the technologies and the policies that grow U.S. leadership in electrification. And as we all, I don't think I need to go into our reasons why electrification is important. The energy, economic, and environmental security it brings are unique in this technology field. So with that said, I'm just going to sort of walk through a basic update on where the market stands. There's a lot of noise out there about what's happening in the EV marketplace and where EV policy is headed. So just want to sort of get ourselves all looking in the same direction and making sure that we're getting the right facts about that. So as I said, we are a diverse association. We have a mission to unite a diverse industry into a collective voice and share that voice with policymakers, both federal, state, and also at the local level when we can. If you look to the next slide, you'll see what we want people to understand about U.S. leadership in the growing EV market. And by the EV market, I mean the entire EV ecosystem. Is that this is a story of strong and growing investment. There's all of that investment means increased jobs, that there is an enormous amount of investment in nearshoring and onshoring the EV supply chain, creating a more diverse and resilient supply chain, and more resilient in terms of access to materials as well as amount of materials. We're also seeing an enormous growth in the infrastructure deployment and in investments in future-proofing the grid and making sure that electric transportation serves as an asset as opposed to a liability to the grid. And I'm just going to I'll take a second and just a couple of facts that are sort of important to know in all of those areas is that the EV market has grown materially in the last couple of years. There's a lot of stories about the EV market slowing, but that's only compared to some industry projections. In fact, the EV market grew 51% between 2022 and 2023. In fact, 2023 was the first year in which 1 million plug-in vehicles were sold. And now there are close to 1.5 million EVs on the road. We're also seeing over $300 billion in supply chain investment. 71 different companies, 400 locations across the United States are investing in the EV value chain. As far as infrastructure expansion, I think you could probably even speak to it from where you're sitting today. The deployment of infrastructure has grown 70% since 2021. There are over 62,000 public charging stations in the United States, and that represents 10 times that many, essentially, ports. The administration, as you are aware, is investing materially in expanding infrastructure, including the NEVI program, that $5 billion and the charging and fueling infrastructure grants, that's another $2.5 billion. So far, those programs have been, the NEVI program has approved the plans of every state and territory. 16 states are awarding contracts and installing stations. I believe 4 have already opened. That may be more, because there's probably somebody on this call who can correct me if additional ones have opened since I wrote this. And I think we can speak to that. Probably some folks in this call can also speak to the efforts that are being made to update the grid. Update seems like a fairly innocuous word for a big task of incorporating transportation into the sectors that the grid serves. But the fact is, there are enormous investments, not only in managing demand, but using it smartly, and in using energy storage to ensure that EVs can serve as a grid asset going forward. If you will take me to the next slide, I'll let you see the numbers. It's easier maybe than me just talking about them. And I think this is a graphic way to look at what's happening in this marketplace. And I think that graph in the middle tells you really what you need to take away from the state of the market. While there might be month-over-month variables or variance from industry projections, the fact is the trajectory of the electric transportation market is clear. The market is growing year over year and has been consistently since EVs were first introduced in 2010. If you go to the next slide, this is another graphic representation of the growth of EV investment and what that means for jobs and for economic security across the United States. As I said, there's over $300 billion of investment and more than 71 companies who are participating in building U.S. leadership in the EV value chain. We can go to the next one. So, and I apologize for this. It's actually just, it's a picture of a handout, which is why it's so annoying to look at. So we can share it with you in a less onerous format. But what this lays out is essentially, these are the federal policies that are reinforcing all of these EV investments, these jobs, this growth of infrastructure, and our U.S. leadership in this global marketplace. Again, I think everybody on this call understands this is not necessarily a linear journey in the matter of policy. Some years everybody loves us, some years they don't. We continue to push forward, and we've had a lot of success. Key pieces of EV policy fall essentially within 3 buckets, and that's tax policy, it's infrastructure policy, and it's RD&D. And you probably have heard or maybe taken advantage of some of the suite of tax credits that were refreshed or created in the Inflation Reduction Act. The credit for the 30D credit for clean vehicles, for clean commercial vehicles, for used EVs for the first time. They updating the credit for alternative fuel vehicle refueling property, which we just call the infrastructure credit. There is also an important credit, 45X, still working on guidance on that, promoting investment throughout the EV materials and manufacturing supply chain. So it is a comprehensive approach to electrification, which is extremely important. There is a fair amount of partisan talking points suggesting that some of these incentives should be rolled back. We're working hard to remind people the benefits these credits have already created, and to obviously push back on any efforts that would roll back those credits. Again, the investment, it's not just infrastructure, but it's in the ongoing DOE, EPA programs that invest in alternative fuels and infrastructure. We are enormous supporters, as well as in NEVI, and working with that program to help roll out those funds and those facilities, working on maintaining maintaining and evolving the minimum standards that are required under the NEVI funding. In particular, we've been talking recently with the Joint Office, who was working with DOT to roll out NEVI, about how states can certify that their corridors for NEVI funding are fully built out, and hence the funds can be used for other projects that the states determine are necessary to complete their infrastructure network. And so that's going to be an important undertaking ahead of us. And finally, but not least importantly, obviously, the RD&D programs that are advancing technology, and not only in batteries, but in charging, in materials, are critically important to maintaining our leadership in this market, to driving down costs. Battery costs are still coming down. I think years ago, people said it's an old technology. You've probably wrung out all the savings you can, but in fact, the cost of batteries went from $1,000 a kilowatt hour, the incremental cost, in 2010 to under $200 last year. And I think that those costs came down another 13% in 2023. So we are continuing to make gains, and science is helping us evolve with the evolving marketplace. So that is a lot of information, and I'll leave it there, and I look forward to your questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Genevieve. Are there any questions?
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Good morning. My name is Hosea Haywood. I'm an automobile dealer in Kansas City, Missouri. While you were doing your presentation, I just took my camera and took a snapshot of the slide that you presented. Just you know, I don't know if it's the right question, but I'm going to pose it and see where it goes. You know, I have been actively seeking some kind of funds to help me. I have a car dealership in Kansas City. I'm trying to bring EV awareness to the urban core, not just here in Kansas City, but throughout the America's urban cores. And just needing some, want to know if there's any type of financing available to help with like some build outs and things like that. I'm also a distributor of charging stations. Just wanted to know what programs are available within your organization, or do you know of any that could work with me on doing that?
I think that's certainly the right question, Hosea. The unfortunate part of the first answer is my organization doesn't have any funds to do that, but we do support our members and others' efforts to educate consumers, because you are absolutely correct. That's a big part of the next step of mainstreaming electric transportation. There's a lot of non-information and misinformation that we need to be addressing. As far as the financial support, I think you're probably on the right call, right? I think the Clean Cities programs are actually designed to help folks deploy vehicles and infrastructure and do the education that surrounds them. And I think I would start there and start with the Missouri Clean Cities Coalition, and they would probably have a line of sight on the most direct pathways for education and awareness.
My pleasure. Thank you kindly.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Doesn't sound like it. Well, thank you very much, Genevieve. Next, we are going to move on to Maria Dlagakova. Just 1 second, I'll pull up your slides. Everyone can see my screen? All right, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, L'Oreal. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being with us today, and I'm delighted to participate in this meeting. Thank you, Antoine, and the entire organization. We have been a member of Green Washington, Greater Washington Region Clean City Coalition for the last 4 years. And I would like to thank Genevieve for the great presentation and for the long time that she has been with developing EV infrastructure and policy. Without people like Genevieve, I don't think we will be here today. American Wire Group is a supply chain and procurement organization. It's a family-owned business. It's a leading supply of wire and cables for renewable energy and utilities company. Lately, we have been involved the last, I would say, 4 years in the EV infrastructure development, and we started division EVI. The goal of this group is to support the needs for power whatever is EV fleets, EV hubs, or even distribution with the distribution power to build the infrastructure for the need. Can we go to the next slide, please? This is the market landscape for American Wire Group. We support the renewable energy, the electric utility, and 5 years ago, the company opened T&D Solutions because working with developers, utilities, and electric EPC contractors, we found the wire and cable goes together with power equipment and accessories, and we became a single source for the EPC and the developers, providing not only power and cable, wire and cable, but providing transformers, switch gears, etc., to be easy for the whoever built the project to get the materials and power components at the time. Can we go to the next slide, please? I would say that American Wire Group is very capable to work on the supply chain. And I'm proud to say that during the pandemic, when many people, many companies and projects experience supply chain issues, we manage the logistics, and our warehouses were full of products, and our customers didn't stop the projects or were not affected by the supply chain that was crucial for some of the builders. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
I
Hello?
don't think that's a question. I think someone just isn't muted.
Okay, okay. Sorry, I was. So this is a small chart of some of our products. This is overhead conductors. If we start from left to right, I'm not going to go with details, but it includes the. Hello? Okay, can I continue?
Yes, keep going.
Okay, thank you. So this is overhead conductors for the transmission lines, substation control cables, the medium voltage underground cables. Basically, this is one of the most needed product, which brings the power from the pad mount transformer connected to the inverters up to the substations where before the power is sent to the grid. Again, I am not going to talk with details, but if you or somebody else has specific questions, we have sales experts and the cable engineering team that provides, I would say, very good customer support. Can we go to the next slide, please? This is part of the T&D Solutions group components. It includes even poles, distribution type, and also for the transmission lines, all the insulators, the accessories that is needed to get the grid connected, the project connected. The next slide, please. This is one of the maybe a good presentation of the T&D power equipment portfolio. Everyone knows how what is the demand of power transformers and pad mount transformers to energize the renewable projects, solar or wind or energy storage as well. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, those are some of the components, the accessories. On the right side, maybe many of you know the sectionalizing cabinets, which is this is the way how you connect long feeder at the field between the transformers or between the substations and the collection system of the renewable project. And the next slide. Okay, this is one of a very, I would say, very popular product now, the spacer cable, 3-wire systems. I believe everybody is aware of the wildfires experienced, especially on the West Coast, where I'm located in California. So this is a new system to keep separate the 3 wires and avoid fail of the cables, and also the product is zero halogen material that is much more preferred by the utilities now, the utilities company, and most of the utilities on the West Coast now massively, they upgrade the distribution system with this type of cable. And the next one, please. Okay, this is a good presentation if you build a wind farm project, the wind turbines has to go and be connected to the power substation. In the power substation, as I mentioned, we can support the customers with transformer, control rooms, also the control cables and communication cables that is needed to be installed, and from there to go to the electric grid, the transmission line. Most of wind, when you build wind power plant, in most cases, the project has to build the entire or portion of the transmission line to be connected to the electric grid and basically send the energy from the site. Again, different products for different parts of the wind power plant. And the next slide, please. It's similar for the solar. I have to add that American Wire Group supply the DC cable, which is goes from panel to panel, then to combiner boxes, and from combiner boxes to the inverters. Again, this is then the collection system on the medium voltage side, brings to the substation and go to the grid. Different materials, if everyone is interested or need some of those products, our team will be happy to support the development. And the next one, please. This is we have utility division, which is supporting the utilities across the states. We have blanket agreements with more than 4, one of the largest utility groups in the United States. It's been a great success, I would say, for the company to be preferred supplier for those products. Thank you. And the next slide, please. This is for the battery storage. Battery storage is not new for American Wire Group. We have developed a power guard and battery guard product, which is the cable that goes between the battery storage compartments on the DC side, and then go to, again, to the transformers, to the conversion of AC side. And the next one, please. Okay. As I mentioned before, our company started a new group, EV infrastructure support, technical support, when the needs came from power distribution. Basically, you cannot build EV infrastructure without bring the distribution power to the place where the fleet or the hub, the EV hub, is going to be. So our capability is to supply the materials from the grid to the EV chargers. The EV chargers is not something that we are involved, but definitely to bring the distribution power to the EV chargers. Yes. I would like to mention that our team now is working on a product which will be available Q4 of 24. And this will provide the fastest installation and cost-effective installation of distribution power to the chargers, and especially for existing and new building parking structures, apartment buildings, and commercial buildings where people will need, definitely the need is there to charge the vehicles during the day or after hours when they are at home. We will have more to say probably Q3 and Q4 about this product, the new distribution system for EV charging. And the next slide. So what this the department that we started last year, actually, 2022, the technology and innovation, we realized that the energy sector is open now for new technology. I would say EV is one of them, but also the new hydrogen is coming as well. And basically to build hydrogen power plant, it's connected to solar or biogas facility. It's a combination of few renewable sources as well. So we are involved in supporting the customers with building the infrastructure and optimization of the distribution system to adjust and upgrade whatever is needed to handle the capacity of the project. And the next slide, please. Okay, those are our company's values. I will move on. It's the company's private owned, as I said, family owned company. The last for more than 22 years already, but the founders of the company are in the cable and wire business for more than 45 years. And the next one, please. Yeah, this is something that I have to mention about American Wire Group. It's the largest, is the owner of the largest inventory in the United States. We have close to 1 million square foot facilities, and the purpose is to have inventory. What we maintain is inventory to build 100 or 200 megawatt new renewable projects. If some customers are not were not able to secure the materials, this is the goal of the company, to be able to deploy wherever the project is. Having the distribution centers on the West Coast, in California, in Pennsylvania, and Houston, Texas, it gives us the flexibility to dispatch materials with few days. The next one. Something about our market is not only, we support not only US, we build projects in Canada, in South America, on Far East, we support the military bases as well. And we have, maybe the next slide, very well-organized emergency group that is available for whatever happened in terms of hurricanes and extreme weather conditions, fires, etc. So our team works 24/7 to support the utilities to restore the distribution and the grid, electric grid system. Those are our qualifications. We are, I would say, proud to be ISO 9001. The purpose is when we distribute materials to have a good quality and avoid any issues on the projects later, basically to be able to support the project lifetime 2025 or whatever is the purpose of the project. And the next one. Additional, what we, this is the emergency service that I mentioned. There is no project that we cannot go and supply the materials that need. The company started to provide pole mounted transformers. You know what happened when it's tornadoes or flooding, and especially in the Caribbean, we're #1 supplier for and restoration plans in Puerto Rico and other islands to minimize the power outage for the people living there. And the next one. Yeah, we are able to, it was probably 4 or 5 years ago, one of the military bases of US Far East, they needed to restore the system, and our team was able to expedite the delivery and uploaded everything what they needed. You can see probably 100 pole mount transformers ready to fly to destination. And the next one. Those are our affiliations, and we are part of SIA, very active with IEEE. Some of, including me, of our engineering team have been working the last more than 10 years on in working group updating the standards that IEEE organizations develop. We are FEMA registered and preferred supplier as well. Part of the American Clean Power. Yes. That. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, those are some of our customers. And I will stop here. If there are any questions, I will be happy to answer.
Great, thank you very much. Are there any questions for Maria?
Yes, I have a question. This is Kay Kaufman from RTO Insider. Is AWG working in any kind of grid update technologies like reconductoring or other grid enhancing technologies?
Yes, the support for the transmission line products is part of our core business. I have to mention also that the last 3 years, due to the demand of power equipment, power transformers, ped mount transformers, which are critical components to build the renewable projects, AWG evaluated a number of new suppliers. I think everybody knows that the long lead time for power transformer, which is this major equipment to energize substation and bring the renewable energy to the grid. The last 3 years, we evaluated a number of new suppliers since, unfortunately, in US, you know that there are very few transformer manufacturers. So we were very successful to bring new suppliers. When I say to bring the new suppliers, we went through the evaluation process to meet the technical requirements of our utilities in the United States and the requirements that Department of Energy has for efficiency on those major equipment. Did I answer the question?
Well, you were talking about transformers. I was talking more about wires, reconductoring with advanced conductors or using other grid enhancing technologies, not transformers per se.
Okay, the slides that I show with the 3-wire system, this is with the spacer cable. It's a new technology, and this is on the distribution side of the system, not on the grid. On the grid, I would say on the transmission lines, the conductors have been overhead conductors. We are supplier of all the voltage from 115 kV up to 500 kV transmission lines, and also fiber optic in the grounding wire, OPGW.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to not ask a question, Al Hadid. I think basically as the PowerPoint that you laid out, I can see that, and also in answer to Mr. Haywood, basically you are a very connective part on how to develop new, introduce innovative and other processes of generating. Let's say you maybe showed it from the wind farm, but you also have it from the solar farms. And then there are other technologies now in terms of generating power, etc. Would much like to talk with you. The issue is that, as the young lady was speaking about the NEVs and so forth, basically the problem that we have is that there has not really been a force, or at least an effort, to actually implement a larger program as far as introducing minorities to the whole Justice 40 piece. I can see that what you have here is that how do we bring a collaborative effort? And as you know, that from the Department of Energy, they do have an unsolicited proposal to where if you bring in something new or idea in terms of the workforce, then there is a possibility of funding. You also have now, as far as the Inflation Reduction Act, all the $110 million that they're giving out for programming. I see from this organization, that's what we should begin to look at, is the collective resources that's within the organization and how can we spin out programs aimed at advancing. But thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. And I definitely can talk with you about the Navy program and also the funds that are available for, some of you know that 40% of the funds of the Inflation Reduction Act is for undeveloped and unserved communities. I've been working with some communities in California because if they want to build EV fleet, and they have a lot of challenges: the cost of the electric vehicles, the cost of upgrading the systems, and I've been thinking about probably develop a program which is adjusted to the needs of these communities. They can, if not many people can drive EV electric vehicles, definitely the community has to look an option to develop a fleet for community-owned electric vehicle, and those vehicles to serve the people to the school, to the hospitals, or any other needs that the people need. I understand it's a challenge for those communities to have electric vehicles and get the benefit of the clean energy.
Yes, taking it further as far as the rural communities in itself, in terms of their lack of having just electric power, So not only can you run your EV, but you could also run farm equipment, also farm chicken, So
Yes.
there's a lot of applications that's out there in which has not been touched, from you at the USDA funding. So yes, we will most definitely have the opportunity to sit down and talk.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much, sir. Thank you. I appreciate the question.
Hello, Maria. My name is Brooke Smallwood. I have a company called Oasis Energy Partners. And I just wanted to kind of continue on that same line that you guys were talking about. I also would love to reach out to you and talk about the communities that you're trying to serve, and also talk to you about data management that connects utilities, transmission, and distribution. Utilities, you touched on the supply chain issues that happened during COVID. And at that time, I was working for a major utility, and we were on the receiving end of those supply chain issues. And they really held us back from being able to utilize our funding that we were receiving from the Public Service Commission. It really prevented us from getting to reach our targeted goals. Our annual goals that we needed to do for grid modernization. It was really holding us back. And so I set out to create data management, project management solutions for utilities that will help connect utilities and their project management with companies like yours, because your warehouses, just like you said, have excellent logistical management practices, but utilities not so much. And so we're trying to make that connection so that utilities can better manage their resources on their side so that they can better utilize companies like yours. And we also use data management to bring in things like Justice 40 and other equity factors as well, so that utilities and others can make data-driven decisions about how to best serve the needs of those type of communities. So definitely want to follow up with you as well and talk to you a little bit about that. So it'd be great to get your contact information after the call.
Please do. Antoine and Laurel will help you to connect with you with me. And as I said, we'll be happy to support you and to work with you, especially on some conceptual design. What is the best to bring in the area? As I said, our goal is to investigate what is new coming in terms of technology and support the implementation, not to take 5-10 years, but to be implemented as soon as possible to meet the needs of the region.
Hey, Maria. Maria, I have just a quick question. This is Nathan Daly. I'm with Preparedness Planning. My question is, does your company, and I saw that you guys have new projects going on in order to kind of do power distribution and for installation. You said you guys are going to be being able to install, relatively quickly in terms of the largest distribution of power on the solar side, right? Yes. My question to you is, is your company currently working and creating an apprenticeship program in order to teach this type of, work to the next generation of skilled laborers? Are you in a partnership with a union? Can you kind of talk to us a little bit about that?
This is a great question, and I can tell you, it was in January this year. I attended renewable energy conference in Hawaii, and I connected with union electricians. We talk about that, and it's important to train the people in the regions where not many opportunities for job opportunities. I definitely will bring this topic to our management. We have a great, as I said, cable engineering team, testing engineering team, and my experience in power and energy has been very long in different areas. I will be happy to discuss opportunity for training with you. Please contact me and we'll see how we can do that.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you, Maria.
No problem, absolutely.
What is wrong with people?
All right, well, thank you very much, Maria. I did want to take these last couple minutes to go through some of our announcements. So thank you so much to Maria and Genevieve. Thank you for all of your great questions. So just real quick, I'm going to put all of the links for our upcoming events into the chat. Coming up next week, we have our biodiesel and propane forum. So if you're interested in either of those fuels, or even if you're not, and you just want to maybe learn some more, we hope to see you there. We also have our opening reception coming up in Baltimore on the 19th at the Rusty Scupper. We hope that you all will help us open up our Baltimore office. We are still looking for sponsors for that event. So if you're interested in sponsoring the Baltimore opening reception, I've put the sponsorship package into the link as well, and you can let me know if you are interested. If you want to see more women in clean energy and transportation, you can attend our Women in Clean Energy and Transportation webinar coming up on the 25th. And then we also have an Accelerating Access to EV Charging and Biodiesel at Local Fueling Stations webinar coming up on the 26th. And finally, this is not going to be the last time that you're going to hear this, but our Ron Flowers Annual Scholarship Golf Outing is coming up on June 27th. We hope to see you all there. Even if you can't golf or don't know how, we have a training if you would like to learn how to golf, or you can just go to the luncheon and be there to network with the great group of people who show up for that event. And we're also still looking for sponsors for the golf tournament as well, which you can find on the registration page. So thank you all so much for being with us today. I will send a follow-up email with some of the funding opportunities that we have on our list. And I hope that you all, if you're in the region, can go outside and enjoy the sun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.